Monday morning, I want to put a quick video together for you so that you have some directions as you walk through this week's content. So lesson 2 for EDSP 525 is an asynchronous learning session. However, you will be interacting with your groups, the same group as your UDL lesson design discussion group. You'll be working together on some of the work here. It is not going to require an additional meeting time with them. You can use the already established time, or you guys can work asynchronously together. So this week, we're going to cover history of disability perspectives, legal aspects, history of disability in schooling, which we kind of cover every week, and this concept of neurodiversity. So your first activity is history of disability perspectives. It's the jigsaw reflection. This is where you're going to start working with your group members. So you're going to access this article, you're going to read the abstract, the introduction, and then the section that connects to the slide that your group has been assigned. So your group's assigned slides. So when we signed up for the groups last week, you were either in group 1, group 2, group 3, or group 4. If you're in group 2, then you're going to read the abstract and the introduction, and then just the section on the medical perspective. If you're in group 4, abstract introduction, pre-civil rights perspective. If you're in group 3, abstract introduction, a civil rights perspective. And then finally, group 1, abstract introduction, ethics perspective. So you only read this article and this section that you were assigned. So working with your group, design your group assigned slide, which I was just on the slides here to illustrate the reading after completing your slide. Consider the following. Now this is done individually, not as a group. So this top part, you're going to be designing your slide that you can work on as a team, everybody inputting some element to the slide. But then individually, consider yourself as educators. You will be walking into schools that work under the reactive deficit medical model. How can you advocate for the social human rights model in your classroom so that proactive measures are in place without the need for restrictive labels? Then you're going to go to this Padlet here. You see it's blank, and you will add by using this pink. You click on that. I'm sure you guys have done Padlets before, but you click here, and then you add your own perspective to that prompt. Those are individual, where the slides are grouped. Then you move into disability legal aspects. You're going to access this history timeline. That's right. Once you are on the site, you can expand it. I'm having difficulty with the site, but it might be the browser I'm using. Sometimes that's an issue. I have put in, this is the actual timeline. Okay, so you'll be able to access the timeline, whether your browser allows you or you use this PDF file. Read through the entire timeline. Now focus on the period of time from your Google Slides. You'll get that from here. So there's the abstract and medical model. And then you'll see the time period in which each of those occurred. And then you'll be able to go to, make it back there. Now focus on the time period that you selected or you were given for your Google slide in the previous activity. Select one significant event, one per person working on the slide. So you go from here, I think there are 3 or 4 of you in a group. So from that time period, each one of you would select one and add it to the timeline. Explore the event deeper by doing your own web investigation. Add the event to your slide. Include the name of the event, the date, a brief description of what you learned, and rationale for why you consider it to be significant. So each one of you is going to contribute more to the slide even after reading the article in relation to a significant event that occurred during the time of your selected period. All right, history of disability schooling timeline. This is independent. So where these first two, there is an independent element with the Padlet, your group is working toward creating a comprehensive slide. Everybody contributing some portion. Now this history of disability in schooling, this is going to be independent. So history of special education. This link was working. Okay, I'm going to have the correct link for you. I'm not going to redo this video. And then you're going to add that to here. So by the time you get to it, these are the actual, this is the timeline, right? So you're going to pick Brown versus Board of Education, Park versus Commonwealth, Mills versus Board of Education, Willowbrook, that's an event, Section 504, Public Law 94-142, IDEA, which evolves into IDEIA, and inclusion. Okay, so you will select one of those and you can follow the directions here on adding events to this. Okay, so that's an independent, and I will make sure this in the next, just after this recording, I'll make sure this link actually doesn't take you to the agenda, but takes you to the schooling timeline. Okay, then you're going to go through a TED Ed. The TED Ed is on neurodiversity. You click here, and you actually, so then you'll watch this video. Once you're done with this video, you go to Think, and you read this prompt, how does Brian Kinghorn define neurodiversity? You will type in here your response. Then you'll go to Dig Deeper, and you're going to click on this document. You'll read this, but then you'll click on this document, which gives some basic terms and definitions. And then you'll go to the discussion, and you'll add, you click on this, View Discussion. As an educator, share one or two strategies that help you create a classroom that supports students who are neurodiverse, and then you'll respond. Okay, you need to be in TED, you need to log into TED Ed to do that. And then finally, this is another talk by Temple Grandin, and you will watch that. There's nothing that you have to do to add to this final part. It's just the closure of this TED Ed lesson. Okay, so these are those exact directions. You click on here and you'll go through these 1 through 5. This is just those laid out. These are the 2 videos. This is the first video you watched. This is the last one. And then you just get into the readings for next week, and then you'll be working on assignment 2, part 1, historical perspective. Obviously, that's very connected to the information that you just learned about through this session. Okay. Thank you so much. I hope this helps as you work through the content for this week. And like I said, I'll make sure that this link is the correct link. Have a wonderful week.